My job requires me to be on the bargaining team for the NFL, and we were negotiating with the Players Association for a new CBA. Very stressful time, and we had picked up the pace so that we were having sessions in Washington, sessions in New York. On this particular day, we were at a law firm for 10 or 12 hours, and at the end of that day of bargaining, I packed up all my stuff and decided to take what I thought was the healthy option and walk from the firm down to Penn Station. So I made my way down to Penn Station and sat on the train, and I had been feeling a pinching sensation in my chest on and off for a couple of weeks, which I ignored.
Oh, not just that day, but
no.
prior to.
No, as my wife points out, I was very smart, and I ignored it. I was trying to rationalize that it could not possibly be my heart, because I was an active runner. In fact, that prior Thursday, I had just finished 3.5 miles on a treadmill. Felt if I was able to do that, everything should be okay. So rationalized, and unfortunately when I sat down on the train and as the train pulled out of Penn Station, felt a much sharper pain, and I realized I may have been in a little bit of trouble. And so I did continue to try to rationalize it, and was talking to my wife. The next day, my Google searches were, what does a heart attack feel like?
Oh, so you waited till the next day?
Oh, no. I was looking at the Google searches when I was on the train. I was searching, what does a heart attack feel like? What does indigestion feel like? Can potato chips cause indigestion? And then trying to figure out how far I was from station to station, not wanting to draw attention to it and trying to just gut it out. Get back to Rockville Center, the North Village train station, get in my car, and even then I started to drive home, and the pain continued to be pretty sharp. And I figured at that point, the smarter move would be to come into the hospital and get myself checked out. So fortunately I did. I came down, went into the ER.
After talking to your wife?
I called my wife. I said, look, I'm going to be a little later. I have a little indigestion, I think. I'm going to have it checked out. She said, you better go. And I said, I'll just come home. She said, smarter move is to go to the hospital. And so reluctantly.
It's good when we listen to our wives.
She's pointed that out every day since, Joe. But I did make sure I get down here. And I walked into the ER, and as I walked in, I said, look, I either need a Pepto-Bismol or I'm having a heart attack. And they launched into action. And they brought me inside and hooked me up to the machines, gave me a nitro. And I think the first set of tests were benign, or they weren't conclusive. But thankfully, the ER staff stayed with me. And then the second set of tests, I think, indicated some trouble. And it's a blur a little bit, but within a really short period of time, the cardiac surgeon was down, Dr. Smirlis, checked me out. And at that point, I kind of noticed as the nurses came over and said, hey, someone coming down to meet you? And I said, no, I told my wife to stay home. And she was kind enough to say, maybe you give me your phone and I might give her a call. And I realized I was maybe in a little bit of trouble. But they wheeled me upstairs, and again, it was in my mind, it was a very short period of time. I think it was like, an hour and a half.
So you went upstairs to the cardio cath lab?
Yes.
Right.
And
what happened up there?
So I remember very distinctly, at some point my wife came, she looked up, I saw her there, and she's just like I guess I don't have indigestion. But the doctor was very calm and kind of walked me through what he was doing. I was conscious, I think, for all of it. I remember watching as he was showing me my heart, and he showed me where the blockage was. It was what they call the Widowmaker, and it was 100%.
100% blockage. Yeah.
100% blockage, which was not a good place to be.
Right.
I really was the only spot I could have
done. Put a stent in?
Put a couple stents in.
Couple of stents in, okay.
And the next day I was fine, and within I think 24 hours I was out of the hospital and back at work within a week and a half. I told every one of my buddies to go in and get a full cardiac workup. I was active, working for the NFL. The commissioner is big into, we're all going to go downstairs, we're going to work out before we start our day, and so that was part of the whole culture of the league. So I was running, I was lifting, and I would have this nagging feeling, but because I was able to do that, I figured that was okay. I knew my cholesterol levels and everything else. We were working on a deal, so there were so many things that I was rationalizing between, I'm running so I'm okay. Once I get through this deal, I'll be able to take a look at it. I had a cardiac appointment in January. I figured, okay, I'll be fine.
There's always another deal and something else that comes
100%.
along. And,
Holidays are coming up and everything
So your
else.
message is, don't put your health on hold?
Go in and see your doctor. Go in and get your regular, if you're feeling something off, your body's telling you something. And in retrospect, my body was telling me an awful lot. and I was ignoring it.
You wanted to do something for the hospital, and for the staff. Just tell us what you're doing.
Well, it's a way. It's a very, very small token of saying thank you for what your team has been through here. I can only imagine the hours and the days, and the fact that we're still in the midst of this pandemic and it's getting worse. My heart just breaks. And so the NFL is celebrating. We made it through our season, knock on wood, one more game to go. And Commissioner Goodell and the 32 owners have come up with this wonderful program to bring first responders, the folks that have been on the front lines and made these sacrifices, risking their lives and jeopardizing their families to kind of protect all of us, to bring them into the Super Bowl. And so under this program, as soon as I heard about it, I said, boy, I have a story. And obviously Roger was there with me during the day when I had my episode.
Commissioner
Goodell, yes, and Mr. Kraft and Mr. Mara, and
great.
So I said, I have a couple of folks I need to send.
So it was easy to get the 4 tickets. You didn't have to twist their arm
I said,
too
this
much.
one, they said it's a worthy, it's a worthwhile
That's
send.
great.
So
That's
it should
terrific.
be exciting.
And you're also, you and your wife also footing the bill for the travel for our respiratory therapist and our emergency room nurse.
It's the least we can do.
We greatly appreciate it.
Want everybody down to Tampa. It's going to be an amazing game. Should be wonderful. It's going to be warmer than it is here, at the very least. It should be a great time now.
And there's 7,500 healthcare workers going down, courtesy of the NFL?
7,500 healthcare workers, all vaccinated. So really the messaging is thank you. But also I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel with the vaccination. You can start bringing people together. There's some special events that these folks are going to be able to enjoy. And I know that I'm looking forward to seeing a stadium with 20,000 people in it, hear that roar, and kind of back to where we used to be. And so if we can get through the next few months, but I think it's a great program and a great way to celebrate. And again, to be able to have Mount Sinai South Nassau participate just makes me so pleased.